5 pillars define a superpower: nuclear weapons, spaceflight, energy, defense, medicine.
By 1990, one nation at the tip of Africa held them all. Then, it was forced to tear it apart.
Tonight, the story of South Africa, a technological giant the world was told to forget.
While neighboring countries were handed Kalashnikovs and Soviet slogans, Pretoria was building an empire of atoms.
At Pelindaba, they developed the Helicon vortex tube, an enrichment process the world had never seen.
Think about what the white South Africans actually accomplished. 6 nuclear weapons were completed. A 7th was on the line.
That's a staggering achievement.
Under crippling international sanctions, with a population smaller than some European cities, they developed an indigenous uranium enrichment process, something that the outside world had never seen.
Then, the unthinkable. Before handing power to the ANC, the white South African government destroyed them all. They didn't hide them, they didn't sell them, they destroyed them.
It remains the only nuclear state in history to voluntarily dismantle its entire arsenal and prove it.
But this wasn't just about bombs. It was about the stars. The RSA rocket program was reaching for orbit. Way before Elon Musk, RSA-3 was designed to launch GreenSat, a 330-kilogram reconnaissance satellite, into low Earth orbit.
And the RSA-4 was even more powerful, capable of lifting half a ton, 1,400 kilometers, into space. They built the bombs, they dismantled the bombs, and they proved it. That is not the behavior of reckless ideologues.
Under American supervision, they opened every facility to IAEA inspectors as the casting pits were filled with concrete. The dream was physically buried.
A workforce of 500 elite engineers was gutted to just 28. Africa's orbital capability was erased, and it was turned into a nature reserve.
Meanwhile, in the 1950s, while others looked for oil, SA engineers at Sasol perfected coal-to-liquid synthesis at an impossible scale.
They couldn't buy oil due to sanctions, so they made it from rocks. It was pure industrial defiance. Using their developed technology, they turned low-grade coal into 150,000 barrels of fuel every single day. And damn the international sanctions!
Their defense industry was a titan.
160,000 employees across 800 different manufacturers. Those G5 and G6 howitzers. Decades later, they are still ranked among the finest artillery ever built.
They built the Roy Falk attack helicopter and the Cheetah fighter jet, technology built under immense sanctions.
And the Casper and Buffalo mine-protected vehicles became the direct ancestors of the modern American MRAP. Also, South African weapons were battle-tested against Soviet equipment in the largest conventional engagements Africa had seen since the Second World War.
Let's not forget South African excellence in the health fields. December 3, 1967, Groote Schuur Hospital. The world stops as the first human heart is transplanted. Christian Barnard didn't just perform a surgery, he made Cape Town the cardiac capital of the planet. They later pioneered 3D-printed middle ear transplants and identified the genes for rare heart conditions.
This was a culture of excellence built over decades, not a string of lucky breaks. Why is the standard account of pre-1994 South Africa a one-dimensional morality tale about racial oppression, with no mention of the fact that the same country was enriching uranium, launching rockets, building fighter jets, making fuel from coal, and leading the world in cardiac surgery?
Yeah, because acknowledging it breaks too many narratives at once. It complicates the ANC pariah state story.
By 1992, the majority of white South Africans knew the old system could not and should not continue.
In a historic referendum, nearly 69% of the white electorate voted to end the very system apartheid had built.
White people chose and trusted to hand over this massive industrial engine to a new democracy, the ANC, hoping and expecting a shared future.
But as the political guard changed, South Africa's superpower pillars were systematically dismantled, pillaged, stolen, or just let to rust.
Every African state that has followed the Soviet model of nationalization has seen the same arc: institutional collapse.
Communism offers liberation as a brand, but it delivers dependency on a dodgy government operating system.
Now, nations borrow billions from Beijing to build what this one small country already had 30 years ago.
They built it under sanctions. They built it under global hostility. They did it with a stubborn ingenuity. The white South Africans built it. They were not handed it. They did not import it.
They built it under siege, under sanctions, under the hostility of the entire Western diplomatic establishment, and they did it with a stubborn, bloody-minded ingenuity that has no parallel on this continent. Yes, the white South Africans built it, but they were also the ones who voted to transition it into the unknown. The fact that you didn't know this until now tells you exactly who controls the story.
Our country's future is in peril. In our next expose, we look at how current race-based laws and shifting U.S. relations now threaten the nation's economic future.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate your attention.
We live in interesting times. See you in the next one. Bye!